this morning about take the limits off, man. Listen, you have unlimited supply. Believe it's so for yourself. Believe it is so. All right. And then the last thing, I'm going to share quickly something about everything that's kind of going on. I was on 1010 XL yesterday, and I want you to share this video. Because again, everybody can have a viewpoint, everybody can have a perspective, but again, sometimes there's only certain perspectives that can help move you along. There's only certain perspectives that can help you. Matter of fact, sometimes you realize that you may have a perspective that ain't helping you either. And so here's what my take is on everything that's kind of going on in the culture and stuff like that. And I wanted to get my voice in the room so you can understand, okay, that everything ain't just one way or the other way. At the end of the day, people are always talking and just stating and declaring things about other people. And little do you know that when we have situations in life, when things happen, when we see something, we experience things, we typically view it based off of our level of our perspective, our vantage point, and our experience. And so basically, when all this stuff is happening around, and with the kneeling, with the social justice and all that, instead of just telling somebody what they feel, what they think, what they should do, what you should do, the most important thing to do is ask them a question. See, there's not a lot of questions going around. And little do you know that if you ask yourself or a person a question, then you'll come up with an answer if you're willing to be open for the answer. So the question that I want to ask you, and the question I want you to ask somebody else, is what are you passionate about? The conversation in this whole situation, from my perspective, is this. Ask the question, what are you passionate about? And how can I work with you to help it come to pass and bring it to a place of peace? So what are you passionate about? So what does that mean? That means that I'm interested in your heart's desire. But here's what I realized, that in this whole conversation, there's 4 different things that I've come up with, 4 different areas that people are passionate about. And again, vantage point, right? You ever tell somebody something, but based off of what you ever tell somebody something or they see something, but based off of their vantage point, they come up with something totally different? And so what I noticed that in this conversation and what's going on, there's about 4 areas that people are passionate about. Okay, 1, they're passionate about the nation. You know what I'm saying? The nation. Like, you know what? When they see somebody kneeling down, it says to that person, the other person who's watching it, man, you're attacking, or that's against my nation. To another person, it says it about their freedom. So wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? I live in the land of the free, and what you're doing is attacking my freedom. To another person, it's saying it's an attack against the military or the flag. So wait a minute, I got family that fought in the military, and you know what I'm saying? You can't do that. You know what I mean? And another person, it's about injustice. They're like, well, I'm going to do this because there are some injustices that I want to bring attention to. So here's what happens, and here's what's happening. We're all seeing something. Everybody saw Kaepernick kneel down. But what is said to them is something based off of what they're passionate about and their vantage point. So that's why you hear this conversation of when he kneeled down, he was kneeling for the area that was passionate to him, which was what? Injustice. That's why he kneeled. But when somebody else saw it, they saw it and said, it's against my flag, or it's against my freedom, or it's against, my military. And that's not what he did. And so at the end of the day, what you hear, now watch this. After this conversation, I want you to listen. As you're listening to this conversation and you're listening to people take sides, what you're going to see is, ask yourself, which one of those four are they standing for? Which one of those 4 are they hearing? It's like you tell somebody something, right? But they hear something totally different. That's what's happening. But because it's something that they're so passionate about, it's very hard to remove that from them unless that person is willing to answer and ask the question. If I'm willing to ask you the question, hey, what are you passionate about? If you say to me, Donovan, I'm passionate about the flag. You say, you know what? So am I. You say, I'm passionate about our military because you know what? I got some family members and my dad was in the Marines, man, and I'm passionate about the military, and I'm so grateful for people that go overseas, man, and they put their life on the line. Man, I'm passionate about that too. Like, you are? Yeah. And another person say, man, I'm passionate about my freedom, man, my right to say, my right to express myself. You passionate about that too? You don't want nobody to put a muzzle on your mouth. You want to say something too and be heard? Yeah. Well, you know what? So do I. And another person say, man, you know what? I'm passionate about the injustice, man, that's going on around town. I want to do something. I got a limited amount of life and years in my life. And in my life, I just want to do something, man. I want to cause a, you know what I mean? Nobody protests when things are comfortable. Nobody sees the right time to protest when things are comfortable. You say, man, there's certain injustice. I want to change it. I want to do something about it. You say, you know what? You want to do something about it? I want to do something about it too. Well, what can we do together? And so here's the thing. Most people are not willing. They're not willing to ask the question. And they're not willing to be a part of the solution to the other person's passion. They see the other person's passion as a detractor against theirs. And if you think that way, and if you feel that way, you are limiting yourself. You have the limits on yourself. You're not understanding at the end of the day that we can, when we find out the different individuals' passions, and we're willing, here's the thing, we're willing to help another person fulfill their passion and dreams, then at the end of the day, you'll see that we're more alike than we are different. Do you understand? I was talking to the scientist, man. This dude is a genius. He said, Donovan, he said, we are, meaning everybody, every human being, we are 1% of 1% different. There's only, he said, 1% of 1% is the difference between human beings. 1% of 1% is the difference between us. So we have so much more alike as human beings. We do have different cultures. We do have different upbringings. But the only way that we can bring that and come together is when we understand that you got passions, man. And I need to ask you a question. And then I need to be willing to be a part of that, the solution. I need to be willing to help your passions come to pass and help your dreams come true. And so at the end of the day, I'll leave you with this. When I think about what it takes for us to move forward, when I think about what does it take in life, in relationships, on job, whatever, I think about the word heart. And it's really important about, when we talk about communication, communication is not more about just talking, but it is about listening. And so when you think about the word heart, I break it down. The word heart is spelled H-E-A-R-T. And so when you break it down, it says this to me. It says he, H-E, who hears, H-E-A-R, the heart, it is an art. So he who hears the heart is an art. There's an art form to hearing a person's heart. There's an art. There's a skill to listening to a person and hearing their heart. Not everybody can do that. Not everybody can do it. But I believe you can. I believe you can. I believe you can hear a person's heart. You can hear their passions. You can be a part of their solution. Because they are 1% of 1% different than you. And we have so much in common. And I think once we approach it from that level, once we ask questions, once we're willing to listen, hear from the heart, and be a part of the solution to that person's passion, then at the end of the day, then we have a solution. Then we have a lifestyle and a life of togetherness. So that's my take on it, man. Like I said, it is what it is, but it is what it is. And if you take the limits off yourself, man, it's possible for you to. I encourage you guys this morning, man, and I hope that was encouraging to you, man. Definitely share this, man, on your pages. Again, make sure the conversation that you're having and the one you're listening to is adding value to you. That's all I encourage you to do. I'm not taking anything away from you. I'm not taking any perspective away from you. I'm not taking any passion away from you. I'm just simply asking what you're passionate about and how can I be a part of your solution? How can I do it? You passionate about the flag? You know what? I'm passionate about the flag. You passionate about the military? Man, boy, I love me some military people and families. I'm passionate about them too. Let's do something. Let's help them. Let's make sure when they come home from the wars and stuff, let's make sure they have everything that they need. Let's make sure that they're not lacking anything at all, because those are brave and courageous servicemen who put themselves on line. Hey, you passionate about your freedom as a citizen? Man, I'm passionate about it as well. So let's make sure we're talking to our congressmen. Let's making sure that, we stop bullying and social bullying and all that stuff. And let's make sure that we allow people to have freedom of speech and expression. And let's make sure that everybody has their rights and that nobody is holding anything over each other. The earth is the Lord's, man, and the fullness thereof. We're all on borrowed time, and we're all managing this earth here. Manage it well. Manage it well. And so, and if your passion is about injustices, what can we do? What injustice is passionate to you? And let's come together and let's form an alliance. Let's form an alliance to solve it. Let's comfort those who are going through it. Let's do that. And so, at the end of the day, if you stand on the side of compassion and passion, then man, we can do a whole lot together. So this is where I'm at. This is what I believe. This is what I think. This is what I know. And I would love for you to join me. So listen, man, shout out to everybody, man.